Good, happy Thursday evening, June 11th, 2020. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this Thursday evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this evening, so let's begin. First up, stay-at-home order to expire next week. Gyms, pools, bowling alleys set to reopen. Governor urges Granite Staters to continue social distancing under safe-at-home advisory. Governor Chris Sununu is lifting the state's stay-at-home order and allowing most businesses to reopen with restrictions by the end of the month, while still urging Granite Staters to wear masks and maintaining social distancing during what he called New Hampshire's new normal. The governor said Thursday he's implementing a safer at-home advisory in place of the stay-at-home order. The lifting of the order removes the 10-person limit on social gatherings and ends the distance between essential and non-essential businesses. As of Monday, several types of businesses will be able to reopen under new guidelines, Sununu said. Gyms will be able to open for normal activities at 50% capacity. Gym goers must maintain 6 feet of distance from each other and wear cloth face coverings when not working out or engage in other activities that might make it difficult to breathe. Staff members must also wear face coverings and should frequently clean and disinfect shred equipment. Locker rooms can be used for changing clothes and showering, but saunas and steam rooms must remain closed. Hair dryer stations should be removed or disabled. Amateur and youth sports can enter the second stage of reopening Monday. Competitive low physical contact sports can resume and indoor recreational facilities can reopen. Practices and training sessions are allowed for groups of up to 50 participants, including athletes, coaches, and volunteers. Only teams and athletes from New Hampshire, Maine, and Vermont are allowed at sporting events, training sessions, or practices in New Hampshire. Spectators at events are limited to close family members of athletes. Competition sporting events aren't open to the public and shouldn't be advertised. Pools can also open Monday with restrictions. People must maintain at least 6 feet of distance even while in the pool, and individual swim lessons for swimming laps should be scheduled ahead of time. Swim lessons, water fitness classes, and free swim times are allowed. Bowling alleys, tourist trains, organized motorcycle rides, and small racetracks can also resume operation with restrictions. Sununu said he's still working with New Hampshire Motor Speedway to prepare for NASCAR events. The governor said guidance is still being worked out for several businesses that can open June 29th. Indoor movie theaters, performing arts venues, and amusement parks will be able to reopen then, with capacity limitations and other guidelines, Sununu said. While the number of COVID-19 cases in the state has been restrictively low and hospitalizations have been well below the state's capacity, Sununu said guidelines to protect against the spread of coronavirus will remain in effect for some time. He said he expects the state to face a second wave of COVID-19 in the fall when respiratory illness tend to spread more easily. Coronavirus in New Hampshire, what you need to know information. Let's take a look at that right now. And here is a look at that information for all of you right now. There are 5,178 number of people in New Hampshire have tested positive for COVID-19. 1,997,636 number of people in the United States who have tested positive. 301 number of deaths from COVID-19 in New Hampshire. 500 number of people who have been hospitalized with COVID-19 in New Hampshire. And 112,769 number of deaths from COVID-19 in the United States. Let's take a look at this map of New Hampshire, where current cases of COVID-19 are. Pittsburgh, 1 to 4 cases. And let's take a look at this map of New Hampshire, where total cases of COVID-19 are. Pittsburgh, 1 to 4 cases. Now let's take a look at these three charts here. Let's start with the first chart here. New cases each day in New Hampshire in the purple. Daily new positive COVID-19 cases in the orange. New hospitalizations, and in the red are the deaths. And let's take a look at this chart here. Current cases in the purple. Total current COVID-19 cases, and in the orange, current hospitalizations. And let's take a look at this chart here. Total cases in the purple. Total positive COVID-19 cases. In the orange, total hospitalizations. In the red, deaths. And in the blue, recovered. And let's take a look at this chart here. Age group of cases. Female and male of cases. And risk information. And let's take a look at this chart here. Infections. Hospitalizations. And deaths. And let's take a look at this chart here. Deaths. Percent of New Hampshire population. Race/ethnicity of cases. Hospitalizations. And again, your common symptoms. Fever, lack of smell, cough, chills, and difficult breathing. How it spreads. And prevention tips. And be sure to stay with the Riley King Network for the latest of your COVID-19 information. New unemployment claims continue to drop in New Hampshire. Number of benefits paid out rises, but officials say revision will likely show drop. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Ray Brewer.
New Hampshire companies are stepping up and making a difference across the Granite State.
We at Queen City Roofing understand how important it is to have a safe place to stay and be with our loved ones. If your home is ready for a new roof, call Queen City Roofing today for no obligation.
The latest numbers for weekly claims indicate more Granite Staters are out of work, despite the reopening. But according to the Deputy Commissioner for Employment Security, that number is misleading.
The prior weeks, as we had talked about, you were seeing a gradual reduction in those active weekly claims. Still holding flat, but really a decrease from the original release number. And again, this number will be revised next week, probably to show an actual decline.
At Brady's American Grill in Peterborough, they're almost back to full strength.
I was down to about, 5 or 6 during the pandemic, and now, I've hired about 19, 20 people.
And he's looking to hire a couple more. On Monday, restaurants will be able to offer indoor dining with some restrictions. York says that will help a lot.
I hold 150 people, so I'm not as crammed as a lot of other people are. So I'll be able to hold at least 80, 85, so that should keep us afloat for a while.
The latest numbers also show a downward trend in new filings continues. For the week ending May 30th, there were 72 fewer claims than the week before. At Lux Salon and Spa in Bedford, more people are now back on the job. They reopened May 11th with just 5 employees cutting hair.
Hair services are great. It's only one part of my company. I mean, we are a full-service salon. We offer everything.
Now she is up to 18 employees as restrictions get lifted.
We've also been able to open up other departments, the nail department, massage department, some waxing with restrictions. And, so it's definitely been a little bit better.
One thing the salon owner says would help is more daycare centers opening. As she put it, if they don't have a place to drop off their child, you're not getting that employee back. Reporting live in Manchester, Ray Brewer, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And now let's take a look at your U.S. stock market and see how your U.S. stock market closed for this Thursday evening. And here's a look at that U.S. stock market for all of you for this Thursday evening. Your Dow Jones Industrial Average closed in the red, went down. Your Nasdaq closed in the red, went down. S&P 500 closed in the red, went down. Gold closed in the green, went up. Oil closed in the red, went down. U.S. 10-year closed flat. Euro South USD closed in the red, went down. And VIX closed in the green and went up. Stocks suffer their worst day since March, with Dow plummeting more than 1,800 points. Stocks suffered their biggest one-day pullback in 3 months on Thursday as traders grew concerns about the number of coronavirus cases increasing in some states that are reopening from lockdowns. Shares that have surged recently on hopes for a smooth reopening of the economy led the declines. Remains of children found in missing sibling case. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
Now, with a sad development in the case of those missing Idaho siblings, their grandparents believe the remains found on the property of stepfather Chad Daybell are those missing children. Marcus Moore has the story. Good morning, Marcus.
Well, George, good morning. This is the outcome no one was wanting. The desperate search for these missing siblings has been on since September, and it appears to have come to a tragic end.
This morning, a potentially devastating end to the search for Idaho siblings Tylee Ryan and J.J. Vallow. Family members telling ABC News that 2 sets of human remains were found on Chad Daybell's property Tuesday, belong to his wife Lori Vallow's missing children. The family saying in a statement, "We are filled with unfathomable sadness that these 2 bright stars were stolen from us, and only hope that they died without pain or suffering." Police have not yet publicly confirmed the identities of the remains.
Bail is to assure that he's not a flight risk.
The family statement comes as Chad Daybell made his first court appearance Wednesday. Due to COVID concerns, the 51-year-old appeared via live stream, dressed in a gray and white striped jumpsuit. Daybell saying few words, only giving short responses to the judge.
Mr. Daybell, do you understand the allegations on both counts that have been brought against you?
I do.
Daybell has been charged with 2 counts of destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence, the judge setting his bail at $1 million after prosecutors argued the manner in which one of the bodies was concealed was, quote, particularly egregious.
It's not simply a document, drugs, a gun. These are human remains. We are aware that those remains are the remains of children.
Daybell's wife, Lori, has been behind bars since February, awaiting trial on charges relating to Tylee and JJ's disappearance. She has pled not guilty. JJ's grandparents, Kay and Larry Woodcock, first sounded the alarm about the children to authorities last fall, after they hadn't seen or heard from them in 2 months. During that time, Vallow and Daybell traveled to Hawaii and got married, seen here smiling and dancing during their beachfront ceremony. Police say Vallow lied to them about JJ's whereabouts during a welfare check in November. The next day, the couple returned to Hawaii, where they lived for several months, refusing to comment on the children.
What happened to JJ?
When Vallow was arrested in February, Daybell insisted the kids are safe.
Is there anything that you would like to say to people at all who are, number one, concerned about the kids or concerned about you and your wife? Anything at all you want to say to them?
Grateful for any support. We just have to wait for the legal process to work through.
Now, the case continues, and positive ID on the remains as well as an autopsy are still pending. And this morning, Vallow and Daybell are in jail, each being held on $1 million bail. And Daybell is expected back in court in early July. Amy.
All right, we appreciate that, Marcus. Thank you.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for this evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for watching this evening edition. Have a great rest of your Thursday evening. See you back here tomorrow for another broadcast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Good night and bye, everyone.